So, here we go. Ah, gotta get rid of the text before I forget it. Okay. Episode 8. Twilight of the Golden Witch. Good morning. To think that this is goodbye brings me great sadness as well. I have prepared a farewell party for this night, but there will be a game tournament as well, so I ask that you participate with vigor. Like pepper, the difficulty comes in tiny yet spicy grains. Why not participate yourself now at the very end? Whatever that means. Oh. Did you hear that? There was a sound. I heard a sound. Was that from the game? Also, holy shit, it's the final episode. I mean, think about that. It's been 6 months since we started. And if I hadn't started doing streams during the week, we probably would have still been in the first half, maybe even. But here we are. 2 silhouettes could be seen in the chapel. A big brother and a little sister. The big brother who would never return from that day 12 years in the past, and the little sister who waited all alone 12 years in the future. However, the big brother knew everything, understood everything. And the little sister knew nothing, understood nothing. So no matter how much time passed, the little sister remained as the girl she had been 12 years before. She remained a 6-year-old girl forever. Well, not with regards to her outward appearance. Her sobs into his chest finally subsided. She quietly waited for his next words. After petting her head gently, the big brother fished around inside his shirt pocket. Then he took that out. Are you listening, Angie? Take good care of this. What is it? A key? Bella took a large key attached to a necklace out of his pocket, then held it out to Angie. It was large enough to cover his entire palm. What the hell is this? Quite the elaborate key. And little Angie probably wouldn't even be able to wrap her hand all the way around it. The key glittered gold and had a beautiful, intricate design. Its weight alone made it clear that this key was something very important. Bella put the necklace around Angie's neck. This precious key is yours alone. Oh, we actually get a little Angie. I am surprised. Did we get a little Angie here as well? We did. What's it for? The time to use it will come soon. When it does, you'll have to decide for yourself. Understand? Of course she didn't have a clue what Bella was saying, but she did realize that he was telling her to take good care of this key. So Angie nodded, at least in response to that part. In her hand, the key had felt heavy. However, now that it was around her neck, it felt as light as an ordinary necklace. How strange. Okay, let's go. Where to? She had been sure that her brother was about to sit down. After all, just a second ago, he said he'd tell her what happened on Lakanjima on that day. She'd expected him to tell her here. On that day, on that island, just what is it that happened? I thought you were going to tell me about that, Oni-chan. Absolutely, and you'll be given the chance to listen. However, to you, it may not feel as though you're merely listening to a story. What does that mean? What you really want isn't to know what happened on that island on that day. So he does understand after all. What happened on that island that day? Trying to answer that question was all I was capable of, so I wished for nothing more. But if I could, I would want to go there. To that island, on that day. To Rokkanjima on that day I couldn't go. To the Yoshinomiya family mansion. To Mom and Dad. To all the cousins, all the relatives. And everyone else. I want to go back to that island on that day. So I remained the way I was on that day. My heart and soul stopped, stuck as a 6-year-old's forever. I want to go home. I know. Mom, Dad, Oni-chan, everyone. I want to go home to where everyone is. That's why I've decided to invite you there. Huh? Your Oni-chan is the game master now. Only those who know everything about the game board can open it up and invite pieces in. So I'll invite you to come to the game board. You'll take me to Rokkanjima on that day? That's right. I'll invite you to the Rokkanjima of 1986 so we have another child that can get horribly murdered. Will I be able to see everyone? Of course. Even though my memory is vague and I can't remember anyone's face clearly? You'll remember soon enough. And though it will be a reunion after 12 years for you, it'll only have been a short gap for us. Everyone will welcome you. When you finally return from the distant future, everyone will welcome you. Will I be able to stay there forever? This way I can be with everyone forever. This is the goal I'm supposed to reach. Angie, listen to me carefully. But Battler spoke in an admonishing tone, as though warning me that this was a dream that wouldn't be granted. The Rokkanjima family conference usually ends after a single night. Because of the typhoon that day, the boat couldn't come and it lasted 2 nights. So when the typhoon passes, I'll have to leave the island again? Not exactly. That decision is yours as well, Angie. You'll decide that yourself. I understand, of course. I don't exist on that island on that day. It's a miracle just to be invited there like this. Just the 2 days before the typhoon passes, just getting those 2 days to myself was already the sort of miracle that will never come again. If I'm greedy enough to ask for more, that faint miracle might vanish. Even though I thought this, my young heart, which was still 6 years old, wasn't satisfied with such a short-lived miracle. I don't want to leave. I know. I'll be with everyone forever. I'll stay with my family. Even if Oni-chan says I have to head back, I'll stay on Rokkanjima. You can stay or you can leave, but it's not as though one of those is the right choice. That's not how it works, Angie. Even so, you'll let me choose? Yes. That's what the key's for. Bella touched the glittering key that hung from Angie's neck. I've already made my decision. You don't have to decide now. The time to choose will come soon. When it does, you must use your honest heart to choose how you'll use that key. You don't need to listen to anything your Oni-chan tells you. You're free to choose your answer in any way you like. However, if you're a good kid, and if you can trust your Oni-chan, if I can, then believe everything Oni-chan says. I'll believe all of it. That will lead to the best choice for you. But will it also lead to the best choice for everyone else? Listen to your Oni-chan's words and believe everything. Can you do that? I don't know. That's good enough. Believe whatever you want to. That's also a choice you can make. If I don't believe Oni-chan, will I wake up from this dream? That won't happen, so don't worry. For some reason, Angie was suspicious of her brother and scared of him. Her wish was to remain on that island on that day, together with her family, forever. She was afraid that once she got her true miraculous day, her brother might tell her to be satisfied with that and return to 12 years in the future all alone. I already told you, there's no right decision. You can go or you can stay. That's for you to decide, and you don't need to make your decision right now. And no one will force me to make either choice? Of course. And Oni-chan won't tell me to go back to the future? Well, there is a choice your Oni-chan wants you to make. Even so, Oni-chan wants to respect your decision and has let you reach it of your own accord, regardless of what it happens to be. And I just told you, I've already made my choice. And I just told you, now isn't the time to choose. When will it be time? The key will tell you. The large gold key hung from Angie's neck. Her small hand held it tightly. At that moment, she noticed a book lying on the chapel's altar. The book had a lock on it and was sealed, so that it could not be read without a key. Angie looked between the key hanging at her chest and the book on the altar. Will this key unlock that book? Don't touch that book. His sudden forceful response made Angie flinch. Battler, realizing he had scared Angie, softened his expression. Come on, let's go. I'm inviting you to come back to October 4th, 1986. Okay. Battler held out his hand and Angie gripped it tightly. Then they started walking. A brilliant light lay beyond the chapel's door. That blinding light peeked in through the cracks around the door. The brother and sister began to walk through to the other side. Welcome back, Angie. This will be the last time. I'm opening this game board one last time for you. I knew it. Oh, it's different. Again, I mean, it's always been a bit different, but this seems a lot more different. Or not, okay. Guess I wasn't paying attention now. I just don't remember the coffin I was standing in front of at the beginning of the video, but maybe I just missed that last time. Pretty funky bass. Not you. You're fine. Once again, Captain Kawabata's ferry boat to Odokanjima cut across the sea in perfect form. Yes, the tale of October 4th, 1986 always begins with Battler's screams, but this time one thing was different. There was another yell alongside Battler's. Battler was screaming, the other was laughing. Fall, fall, fall. No. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so he brought her there. Rudolph and Kyria's daughter, Battler's younger sister from a different mother. She gets sick easily, but she managed to get better just in time to attend this year's family conference. She is so happy this year, surrounded by her beloved family and relatives. At least for now. What have we here? Nothing yet. Bella's face looks funny. Oh no, now I have to do young girls. Alongside the big brother, who was grasping at the handrail and screaming in a way no one that age should scream, was the little sister also grasping the handrail and jumping about like it was a ride at an amusement park. George and the others just couldn't hold in their laughter at the difference. I guess Batlakun hasn't changed much these past 6 years. He's as energetic as ever. Plus, Angie and Maria look more cheery than usual this year. Could this be the first time we've had all 5 cousins together? Oh, is it? I get it. That explains why it's noisier this year than any year before. George, honey, this is way too fast, right? I'm begging you, ask the driver to slow down before it's too late. Yeah. This is too fast. Bella's so pathetic. I want to go faster. Faster. Any faster than this and I'll fall right off the boat. Will that make you happy? I'm gonna fall. Going by popular vote, I have to say that Batlakun's proposal is rejected. Look out, Oni-chan, look, you're gonna fall. Scaredy Kid Battler needs to be punished. Tickle time. Wait, stop, Maria. You too, Angie. Ah, no. What if he really falls? Thank goodness, I was worried about Angie's health, but it'd be too sad to leave her behind at home. I'm glad we decided to bring her anyway. Wasn't she very sick shortly before you left? She was all better this morning. Kids can be so incredible sometimes. She's the kind of person whose health takes a hit when she's stressed. It's not that strange for people like that to get all better when the big day finally comes. She must really have been looking forward to playing with all 5 of the cousins together. Ho ho ho, just watching them play together makes you feel charged with energy, doesn't it? The adults smiled as they watched the children play around. Angie, who had gotten very sick, and who everyone had thought would be absent, made a miraculous recovery. Thanks in part to her strong desire to join in, she had come along to the family conference with the others. And so, for the first time ever, all 5 cousins were gathered together. October 4th, 1986 became a day like no other. I still remember how we came here for the first time and that music played, and we had a long talk about the rose garden and all. Oh yeah, the kids dashed up the path leading from the harbor to the rose garden. They were probably so charged up that even walking was too boring for them. Wow, see that? I just pictured him jumping right into the roses and crushing all of them. And then he even says, wow, see that? First place! And he rolls around, crushing even more roses. Bella was the first one to reach the rose garden, which was the goal. Apparently he was trying to make up for the dishonor he had suffered on the boat by proving his superiority on land. A short while later, Angie and Maria reached him in a dead heat. I'm second. I'm faster than Angie. Ooh. No, you aren't. Maria and Angie cheated. I'm second. How could you cheat? The 3-year gap between Angie and Maria was large, especially since both of them were growing kids. It was only natural that Maria was faster, but Angie seemed to be complaining about a shoulder bump at the start line. Oh, I see. Maria Onechan cheated, so she gets last place. Teacher always says, you get last place if you cheat, protested Angie. Come on, no need to fight. Still both of you really are fast. It's been a long time since I've run that much. Oh, the breeze feels so nice. Are you out of shape, George Aniki? You know anyone who has to run the race to make it before the bell every day gets... What? Anyone who has to run the race to make it before the bell? Oh, I see. Every day gets strong legs by default. In other words, being a fast runner is proof that you sleep in a lot. Onechan always sleeps in. He didn't wake up today either, so I had to wake him up. Right? A stump followed by a flying elbow, and that buddy plex from the top rope at the end there just about finished me. That sounds more likely to put you in an eternal sleep. Sounds fun. I want to do it too. I'll bet Onechan sleeps in tomorrow too. Yeah, you can just do wrestling with him tomorrow. Both of you just break all his bones or something. We'll wake him up together this time, okay? I'd recommend against staying up too late tonight. Finally, the adults came into sight. The cousins waved at them, urging them to hurry up. Angie and Maria were so excited that they could hardly wait. Just by having all 5 cousins together, just by adding Angie into the group. Look at how energetic this day has become. For now. Excuse me, the family members have arrived. So they made it. I must let Father know. Are they all in the guest house now? Yes. They will meet you here after they have set down their luggage. Understood. Karan, please show them the way. Shannon, quickly get some tea ready. As you wish, madam. I still don't understand how the whole Shannon and Kanan thing is supposed to work. Especially since Natsu just referred to each one of them separately. Father, it's me, Klaus. It's about time for you to get ready. After Klaus knocked on the door, it opened from the inside. Oh, Dr. Nanjo, how is Father doing?
No need to worry. He's changing as we speak. I think he's just a little nervous.
Who are you calling nervous?
No, I cannot find my favorite one-wing necktie pin. How many times must I tell Natsui my possessions must never be moved without my approval?
Apparently Kinzo had been running around for some time just because he couldn't decide on a tie and a tie pin. Kinzo, who felt that the dignity of the family head must always be preserved, usually made a big deal about the head's attire being equally dignified.
We're making time. Do you think you could give us a little longer? We'll come down as soon as he's ready.
Understood. I'm counting on you, Dr. Nanjo. Father, I must say the necktie pin looks splendid on you.
This necktie pin, you say? This pin? The family conference is held but once a year. There shall be no compromise. I must have that necktie pin.
Man, he's even crying over a necktie pin.
Where is it? Where?
Kinzo-san. You already looked in that drawer
5 seconds ago. Besides, you own several splendid necktie pins. Is it not stylish to select something fitting to match fate's whims?
You think so? So I don't need to use the one-winged eagle pin?
As Klaus watched Nando calm Kinzo down, he started finding it hard to believe that this doctor wasn't his own mother. But it was always like this. He always makes a fuss when no one's looking, but when the time comes, he makes his decision with pride. After asking Nando to come down by lunch at the latest, Klaus snuck out of the study. This seems very different so far.
What do you think? A splendid aroma, is it not? And a unique one as well.
I've never had pumpkin tea before. That little touch of sweetness makes it delicious. Seriously. As one step in preparing the tea for the guests, Goda let Shannon try a bit first. Until then, Shannon had thought that it would be outrageous for a servant such as herself to drink the same thing as the family and their guests. However, according to Goda, that kind of thinking was a mistake.
One must not serve something if one does not know the taste beforehand. For example, when you visit a restaurant and a dish you've never heard of catches your eye, what are you likely to ask the waiter? How does this dish taste, correct?
I see. So if the waiter says that he's never eaten it before, that would seem a bit odd.
Precisely. As a matter of course, anyone serving their customers must be deeply acquainted with the taste of the tea and food they serve.
Ho 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 ho, and you'll always feel happier serving a sort of tea that you've tried and enjoyed for yourself.
That's right. After tasting tea this delicious, I can't wait to let everyone else try it.
And because of that, we servants must be very familiar with the tastes of all sorts of foods. That's why sampling food whenever I can is part of my job description.
Yeah, sure.
It's a perk as well as our job. Do you understand?
Yes. Hi.
Everything is proceeding smoothly. Are there any problems with the tea? Oh, Genji-san, you must try some as well. Seeing as it's almost Halloween, I decided to make some pumpkin tea. Later, perhaps. The family will be arriving at the mansion very soon. It looks as though the children will be joining in.
Yes, sir. The cops are ready to go as well.
Oh.
At that moment, the kitchen's extension line started to ring. Genji, who was standing right beside it, swiftly picked up the receiver before the second ring. Shannon and the others always thought Genji looked like a samurai when he did this.
Understood. Take care when guiding them.
After giving that short response, Genji set the receiver down.
That was Kanon.
Huh.
The relatives will be here shortly. The children are with them. Shannon, Kumasawa, go to serve them. Koda, hurry up with the tea.
Yes, sir.
The family conference. It was the largest event of the year for the servants. They were all excited and determined to make it through together once again this year. Klaus-sama, I have led the relatives here.
Oh, there you are. Were there any troubles on your trip here?
Nissan, you've been doing pretty well for yourself lately, haven't you? Isn't it about time you bought a private jet?
After all, no one was in the plane but the family as usual.
I'm glad Angie-chan made it. I was so worried when I heard she was too sick to come. Thanks for your concern. She suddenly got all better this morning.
My tummy ache went away. I rubbed my tummy clockwise. Oh, that's a magical ritual to heal tummy aches.
Mom, Maria, quiet down.
Oh, is that Bella-kun? You've grown so big.
It's been 6 years, hasn't it? You've grown splendidly. Well, I don't keep getting bigger, at least. Can't really say that about his guts, though. I'm just happy to learn that he's still the same old Bella-kun. Bella may be bigger, but he's still Bella. This brat's always been terrified of falling off planes and boats and stuff. That must be Asumu-san's blood, right? When he was a kid and we went to theme parks, we always went on some of the wider rides. That's probably what did it. Don't they have height restrictions for those? No, I don't mean that kind. You know those pedal boats and teacup rides, right? Looks like we took those a bit too rough back in the day. You've always gone a bit overboard on rides like that, Rudolph Nissan. I see. Poor Bella-kun.
Ah, poor Bella-kun indeed.
Still, it's comforting in a way. Even after all this time, nothing says Bella-kun like a fear of riding things.
Oni-chan isn't scared of riding things. He's just scared of falling off them. Fall, fall. Hey, stop running around. Maria, you're one of the big cousins now, right? Set a good example. Pardon me, I've brought some tea for everyone. A pleasant aroma followed Shannon as she came into the room, pushing a serving cart. Even Angie and Maria, who had been running around in circles, sat down obediently when they heard that drinks were here. By the way, what's Dad doing?
He should be down here soon. He's been rushing about all morning trying to choose a tie.
You mean all that about choosing an attire suitable for the family head? Father's always been picky about ties, hasn't he? It's just something he has a passion for. Also, he's a piece of carrot, which I just found, which Aiden ate early on. Didn't finish. Staying stylish is a good thing.
And yet he always shows up wearing the same damn tie in the end.
The family members burst out laughing. The sweet scent of Goda's specially made pumpkin tea spread throughout the parlor, and the calm atmosphere grew more cheery and excited. Well, that's certainly not how it usually was. Also, it's not like I noticed the crown for the first time, but how does the crown stay in that place? The crown that Maria's wearing. Oh, hold on, there's something red. I guess she has something that, forgot what do you call those? Kind of. If I squeeze it now, then the dangerous juice would come out. I'm allergic to carrots.
Look, Mama, it's a pumpkin cookie for Halloween. Oh, that's right. The sweet scent is kabocha, isn't it? That's right. Today we have some special pumpkin flavored tea for you to try. It really is delicious, so I suggest you try some without sugar first.
Nissan, what's your sleeve?
Wow, so kabocha tea actually does exist. Ura-san really did his homework.
Delicious. This is excellent. You can taste the kabocha's natural sweetness. Kabocha tea, huh? Still, kabocha always tastes best in tempura.
Oh, it's pumpkin, not kabocha. Yeah, pumpkin is different from kabocha. This is pumpkin.
Maria seemed to think the English word was more fitting for Halloween, but it looked like Angie thought kabocha and pumpkins were entirely different things. Everyone laughed, but Angie, not knowing why she was being laughed at, cocked her head to one side discontentedly. Just when it looked like she was about to get in a bad mood and start grumbling, Maria started teaching her a cookie game, and Angie immediately became engrossed with that distraction. Now you remind me again of the
Everything goes according to Keigaku.
Translator's note, Keikoku means plan. Yeah, seeing them all happily together like this is definitely, I don't know, a nice thing to have, especially in the last episode of all. I mean, this is the last time we're going to see all this happen, so I think it's a nice, I don't know, a nice present for us to have scenes where they're all together and are very lively and very happy and all enjoy the time together. I mean, Bianca still already promised that this is not going to have a happy ending, even though Bella then said the opposite, but who knows. But yeah, if Bianca is right, and I mean she did say it in the Red Truth, then it's all the more reason that we at least get a nice, lively, and very happy scene together with everyone at the beginning before horrible things start. Then the sound of approaching footsteps drifted in from the hallway. She said she wouldn't give them a happy ending, so who knows? Yeah, I mean, maybe Will comes back and just, like, cuts her fucking head off right in front of everybody. When the relatives realize whose footsteps those must be, they straighten up. So is even Kinzo alive in this game? Those quick footsteps stopped for a moment just outside the parlor door, as though someone was taking a deep breath and setting up a dramatic pause. Then the door exploded open as Kinzo yelled out loud, "I'm here, bitches!" Kinzo. No, perhaps not. But I mean, it would fit the description we have here. The door exploded open as Kinzo yelled out loud, with Genji and Nanjo standing behind him.
Yo! Happy Halloween!
trick or treat.
Don't do it with that face. Makes me want to go back to the creepy Kinzo voice. Happy Halloween! Trick or treat! The cousins shouted it back. The adult returned the greeting too, looking embarrassed and refusing to meet his gaze. Well, that's a different Kinzo for sure. Angie alone stood there with her mouth open, unable to comprehend what had just happened.
Welcome, my grandchildren. If you don't give me a treat, I shall trick you.
Go ahead, Maria. Happy Halloween, grandfather. I got you a really incredible one this year. You'll be surprised.
Maria picked up a present that had been hidden behind a sofa. Come to think of it, all of the relatives were now holding similar packages.
Come on, Angie, you too. Give this to grandfather.
Kyria handed Angie a neatly wrapped present.
Oh, Maria, you're always so thoughtful. Grandpa's so happy.
As Kinzo took Maria's present, a smile broke out across his face and he rubbed his cheek up against it.
Master, your dignity.
Oh, that's right. You have pleased your grandfather greatly, my granddaughter. In return for the treat you have given me, I promise not to trick you at all this coming year.
Now it's your turn, grandfather. If you don't give me a treat, I'll prank you.
Indeed, I'm well aware. Genji.
Here.
Yeah, indeed. Genji fished through something that looked like Santa Claus's sack and pulled out a present addressed to Maria, handing it over to Kinzo.
Here you go, Maria. Here's a present from me. I'm warning you, it's so cute. Such a waste to give it up to you.
Master, dignity.
No, this is a present from the Yoshinomiya family to Maria. It is a cute an item worthy of the Yoshinomiya family's dignity and grace. Take good care of it.
Thank you, grandfather. I love you. Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Oh, Maria, my adorable granddaughter. Kiss, kiss.
By this point, even Genji had to give up on Kinzo's dignity. Still, the dignity of the family had it. Lasted a full 10 seconds longer than usual this year.
Happy Halloween, grandfather. This is from me. Happy Halloween. This one's mine. I hope you like it.
Oh, George Jessica, I must thank you once again this year. I'm so happy.
With tears streaming down his face, Kinzo hugged George and Jessica.
Oh, and Battler too. I'm so glad you've returned to the family. It's been lonely without you these 6 years.
Well, anyway, happy Halloween. Not sure if you'll like it, though.
Don't worry, Battler. I know you have things you want to say, things you want to ask. But now is not the time.
Grandfather.
I'm glad that you have returned to the Yoshinomiya family. It makes me feel happy.
Slowly, Kinzo moved forward and hugged Battler. Battler drew back at first, but then he understood Kinzo's feelings and hugged him back. Angie watched the scene play out, shocked. Was Yoshinomiya Kinzo always this kind of person? Angie, you're up.
Go on, give it to grandfather. Okay.
Angie didn't have a clue what was going on. She took the present her mother had given her and walked forward timidly. Kinzo's face, which had looked so cheery a second ago, suddenly became stern as soon as Angie stepped forward. No, it didn't become stern. That expression was the one always worn by the Kinzo inside Angie's mind. This was Yoshinomiya Kinzo. He was fickle, short-tempered, and always wore a stern expression on his face. This was the most terrifying person in the Yoshinomiya family. It felt as though the world went suddenly quiet, and it only did it when I stepped forward. Why? Why only for me? But isn't this how it should be? Isn't this the Yoshinomiya Kinzo I expect? The Yoshinomiya Kinzo I understand? I was like a puppet carrying a tea tray. I walked forward, bewildered, with the present held out in front of me, and stopped in front of Kinzo. Without letting his expression change in the slightest, Kinzo slowly reached out and touched the present.
Angie!
In an instant, Angie was caught in a firm embrace, present and all. Kinzo's white beard rubbed against her cheek.
Grandpa, so happy! I'm so glad to be blessed with such lovely grandchildren.
I feel happy, so happy the tears just won't stop.
Master, your nose is running. That and your dignity. Oh, Genji, forgive me.
As the old man blew his nose, he didn't look like he could possibly be anyone other than a kindly grandpa overcome with tears at his grandchildren's gift. You know, I wonder if we're just gonna get a nice and short, very happy family conference, and at the end, Angie gets told that the book has a very different story and gets asked if she wants to use the key to open it and read the different story. But that's probably too easy. Yeah, could must be anyone than a kind of grandpa will come with his grandchildren's gifts.
Thank you, Angie. I heard that you chose to come even though you weren't feeling well at all. I'm so glad. Here, this is for you.
He pressed a large gift box to Angie's chest. She finally realized that all of Kinzo's presents were wrapped differently and in boxes of different sizes. I wonder what he got you, Angie. AK-47 probably. I hear that grandfather always personally chooses what he'll give each one of us. Pretty incredible with all these people.
He picks them himself every year.
He does. What every year? He picks what himself? This bizarre ceremony happens every year. Maybe that. The cousins were all happily chattering about what their Halloween presents would be this year. Maria came up to Angie and suggested that they compare the weights of their presents, but for some reason Angie just stared blankly. After that, the adults also handed their presents to Kinzo one by one, receiving a gift in return along with considerate words about their health and questions about how they'd been doing recently. Then, after watching to see that all exchanges had been completed, Goda appeared and announced that lunch was ready.
Oh, is it ready? Come, ladies and gentlemen, let us enjoy the splendid lunch that Goat has prepared for us. Quickly to the dining hall. This way, everyone. Follow me.
We will carry your presents to your rooms in the guest house. Please feel free to leave them here as you leave for lunch. The relatives stood up, leaving their presents where they lay on tables and sofas, and followed Kinzo out of the parlor. We were just so happy and you showed up. That would have probably been my comment if this was still episode 1, where you could probably tell that I really didn't like Goda. But I mean, he grew on me, he had his nice sides as well, in later episodes. I just like, in episode 1 in particular, the first thing I learned about him was how much of a dick he could be just to show up and get in the good light, to appear in a good light, and it rubbed me the wrong way. Only Angie remained standing there, stunned, as she clutched the present Kinzo had given her. And this song again. This song definitely makes you feel nostalgic when you played the game long enough. Especially since I still connected in my head with the very beginning of the game. Goda's lunches had never betrayed expectations before. When Hideyoshi said that these meals were the only reason anyone ever came to these family conferences, everyone laughed and nodded. The delicious food caused conversations to erupt all over the room. You've gotten so big. How have you been lately? Pretty good. It was a fun meal, with everyone asking each other about the latest and laughing together. The Yoshidomiya family sat at meals in a specific ranked seating order, so the adult siblings, the cousins, and the spouse all sat in groups. So conversations sprang up naturally. Angie had withdrawn slightly from the cousins' chat and was looking around the dining hall. What are Kinzo and the adult siblings doing? The conversation seemed to be peaceful and fun. Most of the time the siblings were mothers or fathers of their own households. However, when they gathered together by themselves in front of Kinzo, that burden was lifted from their shoulders, and they became young and bright as though they had gone back to being kids again. Rudolph, who was usually an easygoing father who nonetheless had a sense of dignity, became so bright and cheery in this group that it almost looked like there was another butler. Even Kinzo looked peacefully and relaxed. He didn't say a word about money or the inheritance. In fact, he didn't even insult his children or call them incompetent. He just looked like a happy old man, genuinely pleased to have his whole family together for the only time this year. The group of spouses was just as harmonious. The mothers kept bringing up problems with education and household matters, as well as family health issues. Hideyoshi and Nanjo happily joined in on their conversation. And what about the cousins? There was no way such an enjoyable meal with such a fun group of friends could fail to be raucous. Maria was in her element, showing off her knowledge of Halloween trivia. George and Jessica would nod in understanding. Bella would say something stupid, and Maria would laugh at him. If I wanted, I could easily join in on that conversation. And if the dessert caught my attention, I could easily slip out of the conversation too. It was happiness, both fun and natural. It felt like waking up from a daydream to be greeted by the rays of the springtime sun.
According to the weather report, we can expect a big storm sometime tonight.
It's supposed to be a typhoon. Looks like we'll be stuck here for more than one night again.
I do not mind in the least. You may stay here as long as you wish. If it would mean seeing my adorable grandchildren's faces more, I will pray for rain every day.
Give us a break. We do have work to get back to. Why don't you leave this island? Why don't you leave the island, Father? That way you could see your grandchildren whenever you wanted.
True, living on a remote island may have a sense of majesty, but haven't you had your fill of it?
It's too noisy in the city. I much prefer a quiet island with no one on it but my family. I like it here.
But on Rokkanjima, if something happens, it will take some time for a doctor to arrive. I agree. At your age, I think you should at least consider moving to Niijima.
I am old now. I want to live in peace, surrounded only by my family. And I am satisfied. I have this island to make that dream of mine come true.
Father. It seems I've gotten you all down. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends Gorda's lunch. Grandchildren, it will probably be raining constantly starting tomorrow. Now is your last chance to see clear skies. Why not enjoy the flowers and then take a walk on the beach?
That sounds good. Okay, everyone. Let's go. I want to see the flowers and walk on the beach. We can collect shells and collect glass, too. Collect glass? Sounds a bit dangerous. I was about to say the exact same thing. Fragments of glass get washed by the waves and become round, beautiful gems which drift to shore. Did you forget, Butler? Remember how we used to pick them up together?
Were those glass fragments?
I always thought they were just pretty stones. Have you ever seen a glass gem, Mangy? No. Then let's go. I'll show you. Let's go. But the first to see them, gets to keep them. I'm gonna get them all. In that case, I'm not gonna lose either. Let's see who can find the prettiest, biggest glass gem.
Alright, times like this, why not be a kid? You're always a kid, Ballard. I'm not gonna lose either.
Then we'll head down to the beach.
Indeed. Take it easy and enjoy your time together, grandchildren.
The cousins rose from their seats and noisily left the dining hall. Maria grabbed Angie's hand and dragged her along. However, Angie's expression was vague and absent-minded, the opposite of Maria's full smile.